Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. Yes, since the killing of Jerome, that is Jerome Cunningham, the man who's from May Pen Jerome. Before I even start this video today, if this is the first time to the Jamaica Young Police channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and select all. If you're a subscriber to the channel and you're not receiving any notification from YouTube, it's deliberate. So unsubscribe and subscribe again and select all and like the video. Once you like the video, then you're gonna see a pop-up show hype. Just hype the video too. Share the video with your mama, papa, girlfriend, boyfriend, side chick, side man, what you mean? And grandma and grandpapa. And tell a friend about the Jamaica Young Police channel. The Jamaica Young Police channel has been a relentless attack by the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization with their surrogate inside of YouTube. As you have seen, you have watched where they have distorted my voice. The PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization, So they tried everything for the past 2.5 years for us to abort this channel, as they have done to other prominent YouTuber from Jamaica. Once you're not aligned to the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization, they will get the surrogate. They have the surrogate at YouTube. But as we say, remember, lies have expiry date. Truth infinite. We're not afraid of anyone over here. I have never lived my life in fear. I am a man from the belly of the beast. I know that one day I will die. Never afraid of dying. Period. That's why I joined the United States military. At the time when I joined the United States military, we have war over there in Afghanistan and Iraq. And people were, who have known me were worrying if I'm not afraid of dying. And I laughed at them and said, well, if I was afraid of dying, I would not become a police officer back in Jamaica. Because back then, when you were a police officer, it was the chance of you, living to even be 25 or 30 was slim to none. Because they used to kill police like rice grain back then. Yes, and, most parents did not want their children to become a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. But, yours truly, all I wanted to do was, at 4 years old, to be a detective like Tom Levine. Yes, that's the man who was the original name brand police officer. And that's the reason why I joined the police force. I served the police force with honor, courage and commitment. The same way as I served the United States military. I'm not afraid of dying, and I'm not afraid of any guy. I've seen people who have, said that they want to kill me. I live to see that they themselves die and were found by drunkards. Remember, comment below. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Jerome Cunningham. May Pen Jerome or Romie or Rome or, what you want to call him. He was killed in California. And some people say that he was killed by Mexican. I'm going to address that, today. But before I continue, before moving on with this video today about Jerome being killed by Mexican, and some people was asking me, you know, I'm not gonna call anyone's name. Yeah, period. I'm not gonna call anyone's name about that. But now, you know, now this is where the public must slow down and ask the most important questions. Who's making the claim and what evidence supports it? Stating that making the claim that about Jerome. So let me tell you this now. If you know an honest criminal, show me one. And you know, some people were saying, so I'm gonna say some things right now on the Jamaica Young Police channel about some of the bloggers them from Jamaica. Some of them, they are convicted criminals, deportees. Some of them, when they were police officers, they were criminals. Some of them were kicked out of the police force because of criminality. I'm not gonna call any names. So if you want to believe somebody who was a criminal when they were serving in the police force, that is up to you. If you want to believe, and the worst kind of criminal stuff, if you want to believe someone who was in the police force kicked out, then they migrate to the United States of America, end up in jail, prison, and become what saved them from not being in prison and being deported is because they themselves had become state witness and become a snitch, convicted felon, criminal, drug dealer. At any time, even the same blogger, one of the blogger, Donald Trump, they can just rescind what they're doing and deport them. These are not people, they can't have guns around them because they're a convicted felon. Period. Over here, I have no reason to mislead people. I just tell people the real mama papa truth. The reason why the LAPD had released the race of the men that killed Jerome is because of Jamaicans who have been muddying the water with lies, telling the Jamaican people and people in the diaspora that it was Mexican that did the killing. Now they have. So I'm just addressing people from the Patreon squad because you can't just everybody a call. You understand? So I just want you to listen to this video. As I said, if someone was in the police force and they get kicked out, and if you have listened to our MIU man the other day, and he told you that his cousin was killing Cayman, and he said that everything that the blogger had said were lies about his cousin. It was nothing to do with no love, nothing to do with any love triangle or anything like that. It was about fraud that happened nobody, and the person who involved was arrested. So nothing like that as what the blogger says. Just remember, and we're not done with the Jerome story, we don't even start it because we haven't released the photograph of the other man who's involved. And we're going to let you hear, we're going to tell you about why they had concocted this thing. You understand? And lying. When allegations are made about someone like Jerome, we cannot just simply accept a story because it is sensational. We must examine the source, the motive, the history, and whether the facts can be independently verified. No convicted felon have no access to top secret clearance because they don't have any top secret clearance. Period. They don't have access to certain things that others have. They are criminals, convicted criminals. I say already and I say again. Some of the ex-police them that on YouTube, convicted criminals, or they were kicked out of the police force for dishonesty. You understand? So I do believe in second chance. People want to redeem themselves and change course. But when you're changing course, you don't, muddy the water with lies and all of that. You're only destroying yourself more. We have to understand that there's no honest criminal. You understand what I'm saying? So, If someone with documented criminal history make an accusation, that does not automatically mean the accusation is false. But it also does not mean the public should accept it without evidence. The same standard must apply to everyone. A person pass may affect how people evaluate their credibility, but the truth must ultimately be determined by facts, records, witnesses, and evidence. The question is not only who is telling the story, the question is also what proof do they have? Because history has shown us that people can tell the truth for wrong reasons, and people can tell lies for personal gain. And that is what some of them are doing in this case. They might tell lies for personal gain. Why somebody would want to give me $5,000 for me? I tell people who killed Jerome. Why? You know what I'm saying? It just boggles the mind. Guilty conscience right there. So that is why evidence remains king. Show the documents, show the records, show proof, and let the public decide. Credibility is the most important thing, you know. When somebody not have credibility, you know, or character, people can't believe you. Only that fool that believe them. That would be like, you know, somebody scamming you and you believe. So the 5 million story, facts, rumor, or distraction. After Jerome Cunningham's death, a powerful story began circulating. A story involving millions of dollars, international connections, and allegations of massive drug debt. But today, we have to ask the question that every serious investigator asks: who benefit from this story being believed? Because sometimes after a violent death, information from various sources comes forward that helps explain what happened. But sometimes rumors are created, exaggerated, or repeated because they serve a purpose. The claim being circulated that Jerome Cunningham, known by some as Romie or May Pen Jerome, was allegedly connected to a dispute involving millions of dollars in cocaine. Let me be clear. An allegation is not proof. But if someone is claiming that millions of dollars in drugs were involved, that claim itself raises serious questions. Where's the evidence? Where are the records? Where are the witnesses? Where are the investigations? Because a $5 million drug transaction is not a street level rumor. If something of that magnitude actually occur, it would represent a major operation involving supply, chain, money, movement, people, and communications. So today we are going to examine the allegation, the possible motives behind spreading it, and why the difference between facts and propaganda matters. This is not about defending anyone. This is about one thing: following evidence wherever it leads. So we say, before we continue the journey, please just type and tell us where you're watching this video from. Yeah, so moving on. So when a person is killed, especially in a public shooting, the human mind searches for answers. People want a motive. They want to know why. They want someone or something to blame. But history teaches us that the very first story people hear is not always the final truth. Officials confirm facts. That's the reason why you heard, you have seen the LAPD had release the race of the killers. The people allegedly killed Jerome and Cat and injured Nankopal. What remains unknown: why he was killed. They say that Jerome have more enemies than black suit, and it all started from back in the 80s, from he was in Jamaica when he was arrested and charged by May Pen police for a murder, killing one of his friends. And one of the friend who was charged with him, 5 of them. Jerome had seen one of my cousin who was a corporal of police at May Pen. His name is Keith Porter. Family call him Randy. Lives in New York. So Jerome had seen him a few times. You remember Jerome? Jerome remember him? At the time when Jerome was in charge, Jerome was 20. And Jerome had mentioned to him that he had known his cousin that used to work there too at May Pen. Where that's me. So why motive requires investigation? Because people always want to know, even the police want to know why that person was killed. The $5 million question, the number being repeated is 5 million US. $5 million. Isn't that a casual amount of money? If the allegations were true, it would suggest something far beyond ordinary street activity. A claim of that size would raise questions about who supplied the drugs, who transported them, who financed the transaction, who collected the money, who kept records, who else knew. To move that amount of drugs is not ordinary, ordinary street level drugs. That's a big time dealing. The size of an allegation does not prove the allegation, but the size of the allegation tells us what kind of evidence would be required. How large drug operations actually work. Large trafficking evidence often involve multiple participants. So you have to have more than one people. Financial transaction where people exchange money for drugs or take drugs from consignment and you pay them, at intervals. They would communicate and surveillance and all of these things. So do you see one of your known man that is a known Mexican drug dealer who is wanted by the FBI in America? And then you have informants, people who in both organization, and they will tell you what happened. Court records, law enforcement investigations. A multi-million-dollar operation normally leave traces. Money as a way of creating evidence. And so far, there's none that can point that this allegation is actually true. But as usually people is going to run with it because sensationalism. Yeah, you just want somebody to blame. Or people can get even a $200 or something of the sort, and they themselves would run with it because it's all about money. They are not doing this to really better the Jamaican people or the people in the diaspora who is watching the channel. They are just all about views to make money. So the man that some of them they are saying is Rene Arzate Garcia, aka Larana, is wanted by the FBI, for drug trafficking. They label him as a foreign terrorist and a global terrorist based on his background, drug dealing, all kind of things. A Mexican. So now we must examine another possibility. The possibility of false narrative. Could this story be designed to shift blame? Yes. Could someone be using allegations to create a convenient explanation for a complicated event? You're going to be shocked to find out who's really behind all of these propaganda. Who first introduced the claim? Let's listen. Who first introduced the claim? That it's Mexican. When people can be bought, they have no conscience. They go to the highest bidder. They don't believe in truth or honesty and decency. When people are transactional, that's how they operate. Could someone be using allegation to create a convenient explanation for a complicated event? Yes. People is always going to do things, create a narrative because it benefits them. What evidence did they provide? They didn't provide any evidence. The first evidence that they came with was Mexican killed Jerome. And when we had shared it with two of my former colleagues that I serve with in the military who works with LAPD as detectives, that's how LAPD released the race of the killers. So then they changed from the killer, not the same, not others, but others now change and they gone elsewhere. And people are asking me. I don't listen, people send me a link and I didn't listen to it or anything like that. Because as I said before and I say again, once I know that you're a criminal-minded person, because when a guy, as an old police, you got to talk, say you respect a criminal and you take down video about them and them thing there. It's because you're a criminal-minded person. I don't know no honest criminal. So as I said before and I say, I don't look no credence, I don't look no friend from the guy, period. You're a criminal, you're a criminal. The guy can't contact me about to take down the video. And me take it down out of respect. A guy go. I have been offered £10,000 to take down video about the killing of rifle, 15,000 US to take down another, and I still don't take them down. People in the comment section bash me a fool and them thing there, me I go and like say them people are my this, that and all kind of thing. People must understand that it's all about character, integrity and honesty. And most important, you have to have morality. Did they benefit from people believing it? Yes, because people start running with it. Are they blaming the group without proof? Of course, because they are trying to sell something for the Jamaican people to buy. The killers know themselves, And we soon get down to that part. Why Mexicans are being blamed? One of the most important questions is whether people are using this allegation to point fingers at an entire group without evidence. Reason being, California, Mexico, border, California. I used to station and live in San Diego, California. And you can just walk from San Diego or Mexico. Back then, like for we, in our military, we don't even need no passport. All we need was military ID and we just go to Mexico and come back. Honestly, I never venture over there, them things, that period. No matter how, all kind of things, people from the base, from my command, them go, you understand. Two of them were a cop. Now, them speak. They are bilingual, them speak Spanish and English. But them have family in Mexico and them things there, and you understand. I never venture over there. And then later on, something happened with them kidnapper, I remember of the Navy, and when them kidnap the person, the Navy command say, no, we can't go over there anymore, we have to get leave. Up on weekend, people just go over there and party and come back and, So if the story is true, where's the evidence? If the story is false, who created it and why? And if the truth is somewhere in the middle, what facts will eventually come forward? The death of Jerome Cunningham leaves questions. Questions deserve answers. But answers must come from evidence, not anger. A rumor can travel fast. A fact can survive examination. The responsibility of investigators, journalists and commentators is not to repeat the loudest story, to get views. Speak the truth. It is to find the strongest evidence, because justice cannot be built on speculation, emotions or opinion and lies. Justice must be built on truth. That's why I said it's not who is right, but what is right. So those who are saying that Jerome robbed 5 million US of coke from the Mexicans, let them show it, because so far That's not the motive that the police had in California. I am not a part of the investigation, but there's no allegation or motive that that's the reason why he was killed. And then Cat get the most shot. But you're going to hear, you're going to hear for yourself. I was saying over here, anything we tell you, sometimes we might not deliver at the same time that we had told you. But all you have to do, sometimes just call and remind, and because sometimes we get caught up in so many things. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.